long wait is over, and what a way to return. The high-scoring Iowa Hawkeyes face the high-scoring champions of the MAC, the 12th-seeded Central Michigan Chippewas, and we get to see one of the nation's most exciting and dynamic players. Iowa freshman Caitlin Clark makes her tourney debut in San Antonio today. This is game one of the Riverwalk region being played at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. 11-time national champion UConn, the #1 seed in this region. The winner of this game will face the winner of Kentucky and Idaho State. And it is truly great to be with you. I'm Eric Free, joined by the Naismith Hall of Fame inductee Tamika Catchings, who had such a great freshman year at Tennessee that they eventually named the National Freshman of the Year Award after her. So, Tamika, you can really appreciate Caitlin Clark and the immediate impact she's made on basketball.
Well, I think it's only right that we start the afternoon off with Caitlin Clark, and she has been the impact player for this Iowa Hawkeyes team. You see right there, leading the NCAA in scoring. She is #1 on her team, #1 in D1 with total assists, 195. Not only can she score and make an impact there, but she moves the ball. She does a great job of getting her teammates involved. 7.2 assists per game. Absolutely phenomenal.
Let's take a look at today's starting lineups presented by Capital One. Central Michigan can score. They're the only team in the country with 2 players averaging better than 20 points per game. 4-year starter Michaela Kelly, sophomore Molly Davis. We expect a shootout to get this tournament started. Iowa is young. No seniors in their regular rotation. Monica Sinano just set a Big Ten tournament scoring record with 107 points. She's leading the country in shooting, making better than 2/3 of her field goal attempts. Tamika, everyone, let's play ball. So great to have the NCAA tournament back. Iowa and CMU, the 2021 NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is underway with the first shot for the Chippewas from Kelly and rebounded to Iowa, and here comes Clark.
Well, it's going to be great to see how both of these teams start off this NCAA tournament. You can tell the excitement, the vibe, just getting down to San Antonio, the opportunity to play. And for Iowa, a lot of freshmen to their first NCAA tournament, and even the sophomores, since they didn't get an opportunity last year.
Kate Martin with the miss. Kira Bussell with the rebound for the Chippewas. 18-8 on the season. They won 13 games in conference play. They have won 5 in a row heading into the NCAA tournament.
It's going to be
Davis and one.
And Davis is one of those players that you have to watch. You can see her energy right there. That is something the coach talked about. It's just her intensity and the way that she's able to get to the basket. Davis taking it to the rack a little bit, and you know, Sinano down low, normally the rim protector, but able to get out a little bit.
The foul was on McKenna Warnock, and the foul on the other end will be called on Michaela Kelly. And a couple of free throws coming up for Iowa.
This will be an interesting matchup with Michaela Kelly being somebody that Central Michigan relies on being on the court and scoring, but then you look at, you know, Caitlin Clark, how well she's playing, going head to head.
One shot.
It's going to take us all game to go through all of Caitlin Clark's accolades, so we'll take our time with it as she's on the board. Leading the team in scoring, leading the nation in scoring. Second in the nation in assists. Iowa scores, usually her fingerprints are on the basketball. That one comes up short, and our offensive rebound and kick back out to Waters for 3. Central Michigan is a 3-point loving team. Better than 45% of their field goal attempts are threes. You're going to see it all game long.
Yes, and that's what Coach Bluter was worried about. He said, Central Michigan, we've got to run them off the line. Iowa, they shoot a lot of threes too, but Central Michigan, they know 45% from the 3-point. 45% of their offense from the 3-point.
Tough drive. It almost dropped for Kate Martin, but she was fouled. Another trip to the free throw line coming for the Hawkeyes down here early against Central Michigan. Iowa made it to the Big Ten title game. They lost at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis to red-hot Maryland, 104 84. Terps never trailed. They were up 11 after 1, 18 at the half, 30 in the fourth. Maryland's one of those teams you look at right now that can make a run to a national championship. So Lisa Bluter was actually very pleased with her team. 4 days, 4 games in that tournament. You never want Maryland to be that fourth game in 4 days, so she told her team, hey, the NCAA tournament's going to be a piece of cake. We don't have to play 4 in a row and end with Maryland in that fourth day. There's actually days off between games.
And that's what she said. On those days off, we will make sure that our bodies are rested and ready to play.
Turnover into the hands of Sinano. And quickly on the run, back the other way comes Iowa, but unable to finish is Warnock. Holly Davis will run the point. Yeah, go ahead, Tamika.
I was going to say, for both of these teams, one of the keys is really to run the ball in transition. And Central Michigan, knowing Iowa, how they play their zone defense, they play a lot of junk defense as well. Sometimes you don't know what defense. Michaela Kelly gets on the board for her first 3, and with Iowa, you just want to continue to run, and the transition game will be important from both sides.
Kelly's 69th made 3 of the season. That's just good for second on the team. That's how many threes they make, and Iowa answers back with a 3 of their own.
Now it's interesting, Eric, getting ready for this game today. I reached out to Kathleen Doyle to say, okay, what are your keys of the game? And she said it's going to be really important from Iowa's standpoint to get another scorer on the board, so you know what Clark's going to do, you know what Sinano's going to do, but another scorer for them as well.
Martin knocked down the 3 for Iowa, then coming back was Kelly with another one, and Sinano picks it up and gets her first 2. Well, certainly, Tamika, one thing that Heather Osterly said about this game, they were not going to back down or slow down or change their tempo or style against Iowa out of the Big Ten. They want to go quick, they want to score in bunches, and Jahari Smith gets her first points.
Yeah, they want to take the ball down low. Right there you saw Jahari Smith able to get Sinano on her back, and that was one of the focuses. We got to get the ball down low and create our post game.
Rebounded by Waters. Good start here for Central Michigan, shooting 71% from the field. For all of Iowa's great work on offense, second in the country in scoring, they are dead last in the country when it comes to scoring defense. And talk about someone being in the right place at the right time. That's Gabby Marshall, but she couldn't get the easy one. And here comes Central Michigan.
When you have baskets like that, you get frustrated, but sometimes it's just the nerve that you're trying to work up.
Oh, that's a big call right there, because Kelly picks up her second personal foul. We haven't even played a full 5 minutes yet. So key moment early with Central Michigan on top. Lots of basketball on the schedule, including all 4 NIT quarterfinals on the ESPN network starting Thursday. Mississippi State and Richmond get it going 6 Eastern on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. And visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Martin with a great start for Iowa, buries the 3.
Well, that's a great look by Caitlin Clark. She makes that half court, like literally from one side to the other side. That's what she does really well. You know the attention's going to be on her. You know that teams are going to load up on the defensive end, but she's able to get those cross-court passes and get those easy assists.
Shot clock now down to 8. Knocked away. Good defense there by Iowa. Martin to Sinano. You can see how she draws a crowd when you're shooting 75% from the field. In the 4 games leading into this tournament, you have to find a way to make it tough on the junior from Watertown, Minnesota, and CMU did so there.
Yeah, definitely going to bring the double team and try to switch it up on down low.
Anika Weeks into the game for CMU. A rebound for Clark. They get right up on Clark as she brings it across half court. Deep 3 on the way. Rebounded by Sophia Karazinski into the game for CMU.
shots like that, this is what you're going to see. Iowa, they are a fast-scoring team, and so is CMU. You talked about it earlier, Eric. They're not going to back down. And really, when you look at the flow of the game, this is the speed that you see both teams play in the regular season.
Clark on the drive and the foul. Iowa has come back to tie it up, and Caitlin Clark will have a chance to put them in front after this timeout.
Well, it's interesting, but you know Caitlin Clark, when she's on the floor, she's always ready to score.
Central Michigan and Iowa even in the first quarter. Chippewa is the only team in Division I with 2 players averaging better than 20 points per game. Michaela Kelly, Molly Davis, and a key moment here in the first quarter. Kelly picking up 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes of the quarter. That's important because you're taking away a score at 24 points a game, but more importantly, an elite defender who is going to go up against Caitlin Clark today, Tamika.
Well, I think it just changes the whole look of the Central Michigan team. When you have Michaela Kelly and you have Davis on the floor, it forces the defenses to you have to focus on 2 offensive threats. With Davis on the floor, not that anybody else can't step up, but it's just a different look.
Kara Bussell, the senior from Grand Rapids, who was limited to 4 minutes in the MAC semifinal round with a knee strain, came back to play 19 against Bowling Green, knocks down her 24th three-pointer of the season, put Central Michigan back in front.
It's always a good thing when you look at teams like Central Michigan, when you have players that can step up and knock down those shots. Bussell is one of those players.
Well, Davis, you may think that may be a little bit of a deep 3. She can go deeper than that. And Caitlin Clark can go deeper than that. She knocks down a long triple. 7 points now for Clark.
Well, you look at Caitlin Clark, and one of the things about her is you have to literally guard her as soon as she crosses half court, because we have seen games where she stepped up and knocked down shots even further than that. So Coach said we got to get the ball out of her hands. We have to make sure as soon as she crosses half court, we know where she is, and she gets to steal and leads the break.
And a steal here, and then it was given back by Marshall to Clark. Sinano, usually if she gets it in there, one-on-one, it's over. That's how good and how effective she's been in the low post.
Well, she does her work early. As you can see, she just kind of bullied her way down low. So all she had to do was catch and go up. It doesn't matter if you bring help defense when you're that low.
A little fade away, and a rebound comes down to Warnock. Rebound pulled down by Davis on the miss by Taiwo. Davis fouled on the pass by Taiwo. When you say Sinano does her work early, what does that mean, Tamika?
Well, look at her. You see, she just keeps going back. She doesn't even meet the ball. She doesn't meet the pass, as she lets the ball come to her. But that is something that Coach Bluter said. I want our post players to have 2 feet right underneath the basket, so all they have to do is catch and go up and score at the basket.
She was 48 of 62 from the field. I did the quick math there. I think my math was right. 77% in the Big Ten tournament. And those 107 points, as you saw, a Big Ten tournament scoring record. Iowa played 4 games. Beat Purdue, Rutgers, and Michigan State by double digits in their first 3 games before falling to Maryland.
Well, this is big right here. Michaela Kelly is back on the floor with 2 fouls early and immediately makes an impact.
And scores, and a chance for a 3-point play. So Heather Osterley, knowing she can't keep the senior from Detroit on the bench with the 2 fouls, and that decision pays dividends right away.
Well, definitely. Gabby Marshall took the turnover, but Michaela Kelly comes up with it. And I love the intensity that she takes the ball to the basket. That is something that Central Michigan and Kelly does a good job. She attacked the basket. She forces you to have to guard her, but then also along the 3-point line, being able to have shooters lined up.
Michaela Kelly does it all, can score inside and out, play the point, disrupt on defense. She's got 8. Clark steps in for a 3.
That's interesting. Central Michigan sends 2 players to Clark. Clark still able to get the ball and score.
Well, you saw her look down for a split second, and she looked down at the logo and was like, well, I'm going to take a shot from here. Is it going to be here or not? And now Kelly gets called for the foul. That's 3 on Kelly, and she's on the bench in the final minute of the first quarter.
Yeah, you could tell she did not want a foul. She gets caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, but it's a hard situation to be in. You got 2 fouls going in, and it's only the first quarters. So her presence on the floor is needed, but it's going to be a long game. Tate Martin able to knock down 2 shots. She's sitting with 8 points right now. Really important for this Iowa Hawkeye team that other players are stepping up and scoring.
Waters for Davis. Davis with the crossover, the drive, and the finish.
Molly Davis, sometimes she could be so deceiving when you watch her play, but she is able to sneak her way in and get that ball up.
Sharon Goodman into the game for Iowa. Final 10 seconds of the quarter here for the Hawkeyes. In the hands of Clark. Clark off balance, can't get the 3. And they'll keep it with Iowa with 2.1 to go. Chance to do something here for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Clark at one point had 3 players on him.
Back out top. Martin buries a 3. What a quarter for Iowa's redshirt sophomore from Edwardsville, Illinois. It is not all Caitlin Clark all the time, but sometimes it feels that way. Good quarter for Clark. Thought about it from the logo. Knocked it down. 7-point lead for Iowa. So in the fall, couldn't practice indoors in Michigan. So what do they do, Tamika Catchings? CMU went old school. You would have loved this. Practicing outside.
Definitely, Eric. Challenging, but you gotta be flexible. Because of the state COVID laws, they were not allowed to practice indoors. So what do? You figure out the other way, the best way. So for the first month and a half, Central Michigan practiced outside with the Gus Macker baskets. I don't know if you know anything about that Gus Macker days, Eric. I know we did a lot of damage on the blacktop back in the day.
I'm sure you did. Emphasis on a lot back in the day. Well, I mean, we've seen it from coast to coast. We've covered women's basketball all season long as the second quarter's underway, and just the sacrifices and the commitment made from CMU practicing outside of Sonano. Gets called for the offensive foul, to a team like Arkansas traveling on game days for their road days and socially distancing their huddles, teammates and friends keeping their distance. It's been very challenging from that aspect, to programs like the University of Maine, over 1,100 tests for COVID. They had 0 positive results. Women's basketball, certainly the leaders in how to handle this COVID era. And for coaches like Heather Osterly and for Lisa Bluter, there was no game plan. There was no rule book. There was nothing to follow. You had to make this up as you went along. And I think we've been very impressed all season long with the commitment, the sacrifice, the dedication we've seen in women's basketball, and it's continued on here in this tournament with these teams in hotels in San Antonio, practicing in San Antonio, and then busing to wherever the venue takes them here this week.
Definitely. Davis get to the free throw line, but, you know, when you're faced with adversity, and I think this is the thing that we all have had to face adversity in the last year, but it's interesting to think about us having the SEC tournament, us having all the conference tournament, us being able to have this NCAA tournament, the commitment, the dedication, not just from the coaching staff, but from the players. Like, these are young teenagers that are trying to adjust and grow, and college is the time where you really make those adjustments, but they've had to figure out how to play through adversity.
Clark buries another one.
I mean, can we just talk about Caitlin Clark on a straight line, get the ball out of bounds, dribble straight up the middle of the floor, and just pull up a couple feet behind the three-point line, and she's phenomenal. She's fun to watch.
Logan Cook on for Iowa. She gets the rebound, and here is Clark. Defended by Martinez. Off the window, 2 more for Caitlin Clark.
That should beat you from the three-point line. She could take it to the basket. She could find the open players. I mean, what does she not do, and what is she not doing from Iowa?
Iowa starting to heat up, so CMU takes the timeout. Clark, straight line, pull up, just inside the logo. Rolling early. How do you put it, Tamika? It's been a minute since we saw South Carolina celebrate that national championship back in 2019. They will crown a champion in San Antonio coming up on April 4th. It all starts with this game here today between CMU and Iowa is on a roll right now thanks to Caitlin Clark, up to 15 points so far in the first half, and CMU comes out of the timeout, gets a 3 from Martinez. They needed that to kind of calm down this Iowa run.
Well, Caitlin Clark has been phenomenal from the Iowa side, and she's stepped up and knocked down shots. She's demanded so much attention that she's had to figure out a way to get everybody else involved right now. But Central Michigan, with one of their best players on the bench, Michaela Kelly, with 3 fouls, they got to have other players that are willing to look at the basket. Molly Davis is out there trying to do what she can, but other players are going to have to knock down shots.
That inside knocked away. Good defense by Taiwo. 7 to shoot for CMU.
That's interesting. Iowa had like 3 defenders down low. Got to figure out a way to space the floor a little bit more.
Davis found the opening and scored again. Seven points for Davis, averaging 21 a game. First team All-MAC selection, All-Tourney team as well. Went for 23 in the title game, 73 in the semifinals. Iowa's got it back.
Central Michigan getting sloppy with the ball, moving the ball. And Iowa does a great job just hanging out in the backcourt.
I don't think Lisa Bluter wanted the clock stop, but they were going to stop the clock because the shot clock had to be restarted.
Michael, stay there.
Clark defended now by Davis, and that is what Caitlin Clark does. She may score nearly 27 a game, but she's also second in the country in assists per game at 7.
Well, it looks like Central Michigan is kind of confused on what defense they're playing. It looks like they're trying to do a triangle and 2, but not staying attack to players, and sloppy with the ball is one way to put it, but Iowa able to get it back and attack.
Another assist for Clark as Taiwo finishes, and Iowa is now on top by 10.
It's interesting, Eric, when you look at Iowa, they are not a team that is well known for the defense and the way that they play, but you can tell today there's a sense of urgency in every single possession. On the offensive end, Taiwo knocked down the 3-point, yet another assist. But Iowa is doing it on both ends. They're knocking down shots, and everybody is contributing. Of course, Caitlin Clark, she's doing her thing, but everybody else is stepping up. And on defense, they're playing together.
Taiwo has already doubled her scoring average this season. She's got 7. Didn't score against Maryland in 11 minutes in the Big Ten championship game, and a foul called on Iowa. Iowa actually has the last 7 Iowa points, so all 7 of her points have come in this run right now. You see both teams shooting better than 50%, and Michaela Kelly Stuck in the cheerleader and assistant coach role for Central Michigan for the rest of the half, thanks to 3 fouls. Fouls on Clark, her first personal.
Well, I think if you're Central Michigan, you're trying to just stay close to get to the second half. When Kayla Kelly gets back on the floor, you want to get up the energy again.
Beautiful feed, but unable to finish is Martin. Davis gets it back. Rebound pulled down by Weeks. And now Clark has it for Iowa.
Central Michigan trying to find some easy baskets around, or easy points around the basket.
Clark couldn't get it, but the follow-up is good by Goodman and the foul.
You know, one of the things you said, Eric, is Iowa's always been known for pushing the ball and moving the ball and finding the open players, and you can tell in their transition game, everybody is running 5 players out, get the rebound, 5 players out, you're moving the ball and finding the easy baskets, and fun to watch this team play.
10-0 run right now for Iowa. They're on top by 16 first half. Tough shot by Martinez. Here come the Hawkeyes. Martin. Rebound for Waters. This is a player that Central Michigan needs to get going. Good shooter, has made 64 threes. She can shoot them right back into it here in the first half. Not this time, though.
Iowa just doing such a good job of sitting back and trying to bait Central Michigan to take some shots that they normally would be confident with shooting, but for whatever reason they're a little hesitant.
Ducking through, Central Michigan can't get it done against Iowa right now. They are 0 for their last 6 from the field. Clark with the dribble. Clark to the basket. Offensive foul. That's her second personal.
Oh, way to step on the defensive end and force Clark to take it to the basket. She's always got her eyes up. She's always in attack mode. But you see right there, Sophia Karazinski able to get the charge. She did get out of the restricted circle, too, and able to get her feet set.
So good job by Karazinski, and that will send Caitlin Clark to the bench with 2 personal fouls. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues today. Second round games, CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. Or stream games on the March Madness live app from anywhere. For more information on game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. Well, this is another interesting moment here with Clark out of the game. Osterley brings in Kelly with the 3 personal fouls with better than 3 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
Well, I think it's going to be really important. Kelly understands how important it is for her to be on the court. She's got to make sure that she just stays kind of away from the ball on the defensive end, and then offensively, just got to control your body to not get any offensive calls.
For the 72nd game in a row, Michaela Kelly is into double figures. That'll give you an idea of how consistent and how good she has been. Nice little pass inside to Sinano for 2.
Well, you mentioned that, Eric, and she's only played 6 minutes.
Iowa now with 8 assists. Kelly gets the roll.
I think Central Michigan just they're a different team with Kelly on the floor. Oh, nice.
Nano and 1.
And one of the keys of the game is trying to get the ball and establish Sonano down low. Hasn't really had a lot of touches, but you see she does her work, slides in and able to get the finish.
One shot, one.
Foul is on Smith. That's her second. Waters will walk it up. Approaching 2.5 to go here in the second quarter. Iowa led by 7 after 1 after falling behind by 5 in the first quarter. Knocked out of bounds by Taiwo. She's had an impactful game for Iowa so far here in the first half.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been the defensive intensity that we're seeing Iowa play. You can tell there is definitely a sense of urgency. And when you get to the tournament, and we've watched a lot of tournament play, I know I have the last couple of days on the other side, on the men's side, but anybody can win any given night, and you got to play with that intensity.
Ripped away by Weeks. Tie-up possession arrow will give it to Central Michigan. But both coaches really liked the fact that they were tipping off this tournament. They were starting at noon the first day, and obviously you're going to see some jitters. But like you said, you've had a chance at least to watch the men's tournament a little bit to say, well, don't take anything for granted. Those higher seeds can easily take a tumble.
Well, you start looking at lower seeds playing against higher seeds, and you know the way teams play.
Rattled in by Weeks to make it a 13-point game. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Won't get cooked. Iowa without their playmaker on the court right now. And Sonano was fouled. CMU bench disagrees as Bussell picks up the personal.
Sonano doing work down low, but yeah, that is a little bit of a foul. The body right there, but Sonano very good at moving without the ball down low to set up the play. Ducked in when it was needed to duck in, so she didn't waste energy, and Bussell kind of fell asleep.
Well, she learned from the very best, because when you're a freshman at Iowa, you go up against Megan Gustafson in practice every single day, and we kind of have an idea of what Megan did during her career. All-time leading scorer, rebounder in Iowa history. Scored 1,001 points in that memorable senior season when Iowa made it to the Elite Eight. So that was quite the classroom for Sonano. And she's been the go-to here for Iowa, with Clark on the bench with 2 fouls.
And Michaela Kelly, a nice little drive back to the free throw line.
Kelly, outstanding at the free throw line at 80%. Reminder, Maria Taylor standing by with the AT&T 5G in the studio with Rebecca and Andy Landers. Marquette and Virginia Tech underway, and closer look at another freshman phenom, Paige Beckers, first-team All-American. Caitlin Clark, second-team All-American. They've got quite the connection as well, playing for Team USA. CMU dials up the defense across half court. And a steal. Turnover by Iowa.
Defense leads the offense, and CMU has definitely dialed it up to another notch.
Final minute, second quarter. Sonano.
Iowa just a different team. When Clark's not on the floor, they look like they're trying to find the right spot, the right pass to make.
Shot clock winding down, and it's a stop for Central Michigan. And Caitlin Clark will come back into the game here for the final 35 seconds of the quarter.
Well, Caitlin Clark should just add a different element on the offensive end, just like Kelly does for CMU. Clark is that for Iowa. She settled down the offense. She gets people in the places, and then she can pick apart the defense. When she's on the bench, other players are having to step into those roles, and we heard Coach Luter say, you take Caitlin Clark out of our offense, it impacts our whole team and what we're trying to run.
That won't drop. A rebound for Martin. It'll be Weeks base guarding Clark. Clark's got it. Martin couldn't get it. Well, you can see CMU feeling a little bit better about themselves. They fell behind by 16 in the first half. Caitlin Clark with 15 points. Michaela Kelly battling foul trouble in that first half, but she ended up with 14. So that matchup has been great. They are both looking forward to the second half, trying with that clean slate when it comes to the fouls. 48-37. Remember, it was a 16-point game. Now it's an 11-point game. Central Michigan and Iowa, two high-scoring teams. Not disappointing here as we open up the tournaments. Here's Maria. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. San Antonio, Texas, Alamo Dome. First round matchup, Iowa and Central Michigan getting ready for the second half. Kentucky and Ryan Howard getting set to take on Idaho State. Coming up when we're done here on ESPN. Eric Freed and Tamika Catchings back with you. Well, Caitlin Clark did not disappoint. A very strong first half for her. She was not alone as this high-scoring Iowa team put 48 on the board in that first half.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, she scored from all different areas and all different ways, but the three-point line, 15 points in the first half and the first 17 minutes of the game. But it's not just what she did for herself. She got her teammates involved. She was, out of 48 points, she scored or assisted on 12 or 24 of them, excuse me. So she is not disappointed thus far. You see her numbers right there. She's the phenomenal player we talked about earlier on, the player to watch for the rest of the half.
Now, she was limited in the first half to 17 minutes. She had to go to the bench with 2 personal fouls before coming back out in the final minute. Michaela Kelly, the big story for CMU. She had 3 first half fouls, played just 8 minutes, but scored 14 points in those 8 minutes for the Chippewas. She is out there to start the second half here, of course, for CMU. Iowa led by as much as 16 in the first half. There is Michaela, the senior from Detroit.
And Michaela's their energizer bunny. She's the heart of the team. She's the one that gets it going. And as we're talking about getting it going, of course, Sanano down low, 12 points now. Continues to dominate the block.
On 5 of 7 shooting, CMU answers back inside. Jahari Smith.
Well, I'm sure going into the huddle, CMU, one of the things they talked about before the game is establishing the low post game and really putting Sanano into more screens. And you saw that last possession, that's what they did.
Drive to the basket, hard tumble by Davis. Looking for the foul, didn't get the call. It will be Iowa basketball. Oh, Davis had 9 points in the first half and a couple of assists, but she was 0 for 3 from outside the three-point line. Central Michigan was 5 of 12 on their three-pointers in the first half. This is a team that makes, on average, 10 a game, which is good for 4th in the country. Warnock's 3 off the mark. Kelly for 3.
Kelly comes in immediately. The impact that she has on this team, they are back within 8 to Iowa.
Kate Martin had a good first half for Iowa with 13 points and a traveling violation called on Sanano and a turnover for Iowa. That's their 7th. CMU turned it over 5 times in the first half. Well, really, one of the keys here, Tamika, will be Michaela Kelly. Can she play without picking up that 4th foul? What will come first, that 4th foul, or will she be able to go off and dominate like we've seen her do this season for CMU?
Well, I think just not having to focus on being on Caitlin Clark and Davis has the assignment now, but it's a team assignment. No one player can guard her, and I think Kelly just has to be really careful not to get in the wrong position.
Comes out to Senano, corner three on the way, no good, and a rebound for Bustle. You certainly feel like the door continues to get a little bit more open here for the Chippewas. Deep three on the way from Waters. Clark gets the roll.
And Clark knows when it's time to step up. Other players have tried to take shots, they're not falling, but you have a player like her, and this is what we saw at the end of the second quarter when she was on the bench. The team looked a little discombobulated, like they didn't know what they were doing. Clark just calms it down, and she takes what the defense gives her.
Kelly in attack mode will head to the free throw line.
Martin gets called for the foul. Kelly using that right hand takes the basket.
Well, Michaela Kelly averaging 24 points a game, 5 rebounds, better than 4 assists. She's always in game mode, but that intensity dialed up a little bit more here for the NCAA tournament. Playing in the memory of her 26-year-old cousin, Treese, who passed away in a game of February, before a game in February, and also paying tribute to her former high school coach, William Winfield, legendary coach at King High School in Detroit, who passed away shortly after the MAC tournament. So playing in tribute to her cousin and to her high school coach, who she said meant so much to her.
Well, the highs and lows of the game on top of the adversity that players have had to face this season. But you listen to Michaela Kelly and you listen to her story, and as Coach was talking about it, what family means to her, what coaches mean to her, why she chose to go to CMU, and just the opportunity. And you see her shoes right there. He's with her, Boo, and on her wrist she also wears Trees, Forever 26. So playing in honor, the senior that doesn't know what's up next for her, but definitely has dreams of making it to the next level.
Kelly rattles in a three again. "21 points now for Kelly. Clark, tough take, good defense there, but last touch by Iowa, it will be Central Michigan ball.
I like Molly Davis, her defense on that possession on Clark, hand straight up. Clark trying to make a play. She knocked down a couple of those shots earlier in the first half, so I know that she's not going to stop pushing.
Senano will check out for Iowa. Kelly for Weeks. Davis. Bustle, shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Getting right back to the senior.
Well, Iowa, the way they're playing defense, they've got to figure out a way to box out. And CMU on the board. Bustle working her butt down low, trying to make sure that she helped her team get this win today.
Coming up next on ABC, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, the NCAA Women's Championship first round continues. Middle Tennessee taking on Tennessee, and then Jackson State and second-seeded Baylor. All games also available on the ESPN app. That Tennessee team, tremendous, with Ray Burrell, Renaya Davis leading the way. Anastasia Hayes, the player to watch for Middle Tennessee, Tamika.
Yeah, so it should be a good game, of course. Being a Tennessee alum, just the state of Tennessee representing Middle Tennessee State, Anastasia Hayes continued to carry that team, so it'll be fun to watch the matchup.
Iowa gets a timeout and then gets a play inside to Warnock. Push it back to an 8-point game. Kelly, no. and then batted out of bounds, and they say last touched by Iowa. Tennessee 13th in the AP poll. Anastasia Hayes averaging better than 26 points a game, right behind Caitlin Clark for Iowa. Kelly gets it back, drops it down, and a foul called on Taiwo for Iowa.
A great heads-up play right there. Kelly comes off that screen, take two players with her. She's able to find that dish down low, and that's what she does well. When she's on the floor, of course, you're always looking at her, and I would say the same for Clark, right? But when you look at Kelly, she has figured out a way to get herself going, even despite the 3 fouls, and other players are playing well with her and around her.
Weeks with a couple of free throws. She now has 5. Foul on Taiwo was her second personal. CMU is a very good free throw shooting team, as is Iowa. 2 very good shooting teams overall. Inside of 5 to go here in the third. And Warnock is fouled on the drive by Smith. And that will get us to a timeout with 4:50 to go in the third quarter. Round 1 of the 2021 NCAA Women's Championship. The winner moves on, loser heads home. Tight one in game 1. Been a good quarter so far for the Chippewas of Central Michigan from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. They've outscored Iowa here in this quarter after falling behind by 16 in the first half. Good half for McKenna Warnock, the sophomore out of Wisconsin. She's got 6 all this half. And Iowa's back in top by 8. Game number 1 here in the Riverwalk Regional. Kelly dropped it down for Smith. Smith got it back. Waters, beautiful little move down the lane for 2.
CMU playing with energy. Waters comes down. Nice little fake right there, little ball fake. Able to get to the basket.
Caitlin Clark is fouled by Molly Davis.
Yeah, look at this little move right here. Little fake, boom. Just enough to squeeze through and finish with the basket.
That was a double fake drive, was it not? That was 2 for 1.
A single. Maybe the footwork. She put a little extra euro to it.
Like, I've got this for you. Oh, and by the way, I've got this for you as well. Sonano back inside, rare miss, but batted into the hands of Warnock, who has been very good here in this third quarter. She has brought the energy for Iowa. She's been their top scorer this quarter. Bussell will pick up her second personal.
Yeah, and I think Bussell picked up that foul because she's frustrated with herself with Sonano, how hard Sonano worked down low to get the rebound and tried to tap it, but tapped it to the wrong player, and Waters there to get that.
McKenna Warnock, 77% free throw shooter. Lisa Bluter told us yesterday that she wants Warnock to get more looks because she's shooting at a high percentage outside the line, but also impactful inside. She has scored 8 this quarter. She has scored Iowa's last 8 points, and it's 60-52. Kelly's got such a good, quick first step, but can't get it to drop.
Yeah, she likes going to that right hand, too, so.
Clark's been quiet. Just 2 points this half for Caitlin Clark, the nation's leading scorer. She's got 17. Bussell not this time. And Taiwo's got it for Iowa.
Well, you look at that, you just said Clark has only had 2 points in this half, but she doesn't have to shoot. She doesn't have to score if other players are stepping up, and Warnock stepped up again. Now yet another player for Iowa get into double digits. Warnock sitting with 11.
Scoreless in the first half. She has the last 11 for Iowa, and the Hawkeyes are back on top by double digits. Taiwo standing her ground defensively for Iowa, making it tough on Davis.
Yeah, Davis has not really had an easy shot, and I think early on when Kelly went to the bench, all the focus zeroed in on her. She hit a couple of shots, but she really hasn't had open shot. Everything that she is doing, she's had to work for it. You look at that last possession, she has to work really hard. See, 12 field goals, only 4 for 12.
Let's see, 5 on the shot clock now, 2.5 to go in the quarter. Shot comes up short and into the hands of Warnock. Clark to Taiwo. Senano. Oh, good defense, and I think Senano touched it last. Yes, that is the case. Good job by Smith fighting inside for CMU.
You know, when you watch Senano run down the floor, we have always been taught for post players, you run directly down the middle of the floor, you get your head underneath the basket, and then you turn to whichever way the ball comes down. Come to the left side, you pivot left. Come to the right side, you pivot right. Senano, she does that. She runs directly down the floor. She posts up right outside the restricted circle. She's not able to knock down that last possession, that last layup, but look at her footwork and how she gets set up early.
Kelly with the kick. Weeks into the hands of Clark. Good job reaching in there by Weeks to knock it away. 1:45 to go in the third quarter. Martinez back in for CMU as Davis will sit down. Quiet second half for Davis. She struggled from the field overall, 4 of 14. She hasn't scored since her 9 in the first half. And that foul is going to be called on Smith. It's Smith, that's 4.
CMU trying to figure out a way to get some energy, generate some energy. They went on a little bit of a run coming into the third quarter, but has kind of sizzled out a little bit. And the big reason is Warnock for Iowa.
Clark, you got to guard her out there. Doesn't cost CMU, but she has unlimited range. Now Kelly trying to do something in transition here. It's been a struggle in the half court for CMU against Iowa. Martin for Marshall. Marshall to the basket for 2.
Great patience by Marshall. Uses the screen really well, comes one way, able to come right back. Get in for that right-handed layup.
Kelly down to 7 on the shot clock. Drops it down to Weeks, and it's swatted away by Martin. And there should not have been a reset, obviously, on the shot clock. So the officials will head to the monitor to see how much time should be here on the shot clock. You see 1 has been put up there.
You know, it's interesting. One of the things CMU is trying to do is they're trying to pull the post players out so that they're able to get off the pick and roll and get that post dive, which they've got a few possessions early on in the first half. But this second half, they haven't really. So right there, the screen, Michaela Kelly fine. But great job by Martin coming over. CMU has scored a few possessions just off of that one play.
Well, the question is, will there be any time on the shot clock while they review it? I have time to tell you about what's ahead at the NCAA Women's Championship. We're at the starting line, Tamika, but it will be a sprint here in Texas. Sweet 16, March 27th and 28th. Elite 8, March 29th and 30th. Final 4, April 2nd, 6 and 9:30 on ESPN. And the championship game Sunday, April 4th, 6 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. 5 venues, 6 courts being used in and around San Antonio. When you talk about Texas, you know, everything's bigger in Texas. So there's teams busting down to Austin, to the Irwin Center, and to San Marcos at Texas State. Multiple sites in San Antonio, including 2 gyms in the Alamo Dome. And then everything will shift to the Alamo Dome, Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final 4. So first 2 rounds being spread out around the multiple sites, and it gives you an idea of how they've set things up in here. One court to the next.
That's
a
kind
couple
of cool.
more courts in there if you wanted to.
Could, right? Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, I think about just the opportunity to be in Florida for the Wubble, for the WNBA, and you know, being able to be in venues that have enough space where you can have 2 courts and basically have games going on simultaneously. So just an honor, though, I think, for these players to be able to have an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, no matter where it is.
So 1 second on the shot clock. They look for the tip, and it's batted away by Clark. Shot clock is off. Game clock now inside of 20 seconds. Marshall waits. And now we'll go to work with 7. Down to 5. Down to 3. Martin can't get it, and that will do it for the quarter. Well, a 7-0 run for Iowa. They got things going after a slow start to the third quarter, and McKenna Warnock had the hot hand for the Hawkeyes, who are up 13. All right, Maria and Andy, thanks very much. 13-point lead for Iowa as we sit ready for the fourth quarter. Winner of this game will take on the winner of Idaho State and Kentucky. Kentucky, the 4 seed. That's coming up 2 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. That means you get a chance to see the great Ryan Howard, the All-American for Kentucky, 2-time All-American. Kentucky ranked 18th in the country, but just winning 2 of their last 5 games. So it'll be interesting to see Kentucky against the Big Sky champions, who have won 6 in a row. Caitlin Clark, a quiet second half so far, Tamika. She had 15 in the first half, just 2 points in that third quarter.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a big target. You know, one of the questions that we asked Coach Bluter was, how did you get Caitlin Clark some rest? And I think part of it is she didn't have to score in the third quarter. When you have other players stepping up, her presence on the court is enough to score, and she must have heard us talking about it and tipped it right in.
So you're talking about fourth quarter is Caitlin Clark time? That's her time to shine a little bit more? She's got the look, she's got the strut. She wants to end this game. It's a 15-point lead now for Iowa. Travel called on CMU, so a turnover for the Chips, their 6th.
And I think if you're Iowa, you know, you're still looking at every single possession mattering. One thing we talked about early on in the game is Sinano and really getting her established down low. She took that turnaround jump shot just in the last possession. But I think that Iowa will be looking to try to get her some more looks.
Hard tumble for Caitlin Clark. She'll head back to the free throw line. And you just get a little taste of her competitiveness. She has stepped on the campus in Iowa City and been a difference maker right from the start. And Lisa Bluter said she knew she would make an enormous impact, but you start thinking of the terms. If you take her away from us, where would they be? And just a testament to what she has done for this entire team. Not just all her points, 27 points a game, but leading the team in assists. And when she came out with those 2 fouls, you touched on it, Tamika, things seem to get stuck without her out there. So she has been that key piece as a freshman, a standout already for Iowa.
The question really was, how good is Caitlin Clark? And she said, so good that if you take her off the floor, we are a totally different team, and we did see that.
Clark on the pull-up. Won't drop.
And Michaela Kelly had 3 fouls in the first quarter and really been efficient. And Bustle knocked down a 3 to continue to give Central Michigan some hope on the offensive end. They are a 3-point shooting team, so I think one of the things Coach Bluter said in the huddle, I can imagine, is we cannot underestimate Central Michigan being able to knock down 3s.
Well, I had my eyes on Clark at the top of the key saying she's open, but Iowa had different plans on that play, and they found Sonano inside for 2 more. And now it's thrown into the backcourt, but saved right to Martin. Oh, good hustle play coming back by Davis to take it away.
AMU a little careless with the ball, but gets the dish out to Kelly.
Got the open look. So Kelly, who picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter, is still at 3 personal fouls. But time running out here on CMU. Sonano will not miss many of those.
Yeah, she got a little bit underneath the basket, and the look was not a good look for her.
Timeout called by CMU. 7:03 to go in the 4th in round 1.
But Caitlin Clark is the answer. I mean, to me, she's the most exciting player in college basketball right now. But I was like, oh, Iowa's on? Let me turn this on. Like, she's exciting to watch.
Well, first of all, hi, Sue, because we know you're watching. Second of all, time for our Capital One rewarding performance. It's what Caitlin Clark's been up to here tonight.
Well, she's been doing a little bit of everything, but scoring is what she does. 21.7 rebounds, 5 assists. The thing that we love the most about watching Caitlin Clark, she makes it look so easy. And she's only a freshman, so she's doing all of this against sophomore, junior, seniors. Makes it look so easy, dominating, #1 in the NCAA in scoring. We have a lot of years to watch her.
Illegal screen set, so you see the most points per game in Division I history by freshmen, and Caitlin Clark and Melinda Deladon even at 26.7. Well, Tamika, we talked about at the very top of the telecast, you were the freshman of the year. Your freshman year at Tennessee had a phenomenal first season. And I think people look at Caitlin Clark and maybe look at what you did saying, well, yeah, they were great players coming out of high school, but you had to adjust to so much going from high school, beautiful look, and Warnock scores for Iowa as they stretch their lead. It's not that easy to go from what you did in high school to what you did at Tennessee and what Caitlin Clark's done here at Iowa, is it?
No, it's not, but I think Lisa Bluter said it best. She said, you know, we have a culture. There's a way that we play. There's a way that we are that has already been established. So when you step on campus, there's already a culture that pre-exists. I think I had the same thing, but then you also look at the simple fact of they got a lot of underclassmen. So from last season, this season, with the freshmen that they have, she said they don't know any different. So when they step on the court, they just go all out. They play. They have fun. Like, this is the way that they play. And so I think from our standpoint, for myself, really about being able to have the opportunity to have the culture that's been established, and you go out, you play, you do the things that you did in high school, but on a different level.
You know what, one of the keys, though, and I didn't expect this from Lisa Bluter, and I don't think it shows up on any scouting report, she said Caitlin Clark is such a goof. She's the biggest goof we have on the team, the biggest talker, but she's got a big personality, and that helps people be at ease. You know, when you bring in someone who's going to dominate on the stat sheet, well, people want to be successful and be around her and be a part of that good energy. So sometimes those goofballs need to be celebrated. So Caitlin Clark, that's for you.
Well, the goof is ready to come back in the game. And you know, when you have a player like that demands so much attention, and Coach Bluter said, admittedly, like could have players. And tell you what, CMU had Iowa throwing the ball all over the place. But this is what happened in the second quarter with Caitlin Clark was out of the game. The same way that the players are playing now, they need her on the floor just to be able to establish the flow for the offense. She set the tone for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
And it forces Iowa to take a timeout so they can get Clark back into the game with 5:45 to go in the fourth.
Well, Central Michigan is known for their three-point shooting, and they came into the game knowing that we had to keep them off the three-point line, force them to shoot more twos than threes, and Iowa has a chance to win. I think right now what you're seeing is with Caitlin Clark off the floor, how they are moving the ball, they don't know who should have the ball. Clark normally has the ball in her hands, so it makes it stable for everybody else to work around her.
They try to trap Clark, who calmly gives it off, and just a couple of passes later, it's a layup for Sinano.
Well, being able to pass off a double team forces the rotation. You get the wide open look, and Molly Davis able to get a look down low, get herself to the free throw line.
Warnock picks up her third personal foul, and Davis will head to the free throw line. She's got 14. Coming up 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, the NCAA Women's Championship first round continues on ESPN2. Florida Gulf Coast and their high-octane offense, 5th in the nation in scoring, will take on Naz, Hillman, and Michigan. All Naz did was go for 50 in a game this year against Ohio State. So if you like offense, we've got you covered here in this Riverwalk region. We welcome those of you joining us here in the Riverwalk region. Opening game here at the Alamo Dome. Eric Freed, Tamika Catchings, 5th seed Iowa on top of CMU, the MAC champions, 75-63. The winner of this game will take on the winner of our next game between Kentucky and Idaho State. Caitlin Clark, the All-American freshman for Iowa, has put on a show, 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. But whenever she's come out of the game for a moment or two, Tamika, Iowa has struggled to stretch out the lead. And as a result, Central Michigan hanging around with plenty of time to go here in the fourth quarter.
Well, also as a result of that, Clark is back on the floor and not able to get more time to rest, because hopefully they get beyond this game, and then you look at the next game that you have to play, and it gets tougher and tougher, because that's what tournament time is all about.
Iowa's been very good out of the timeouts, getting looks inside. They can't score here as McKenna Warnock, who's had an excellent second half, scoring all 13 of her points in this half. And a foul is called on Iowa off the rebound. So Warnock will check out. And CMU will bring it up. CMU's best player, Michaela Kelly, picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter, still scored 14 points in 8 minutes in the first half. She's at the top of the screen, number 1. They need to get her going here. She's got 21. Loose ball on the ground, and a foul is called on Davis, diving for the loose ball, fighting against Kate Martin.
Well, one of the things you just said at Michaela Kelly, she's got to make herself available to come and get the ball. You know she's a threat. Everybody on the defensive end from the Iowa standpoint has to lock in and focus when Kelly has the ball. The best defense sometimes is keeping the offensive player that threat, keeping them from getting the ball.
Second foul on Davis. Inside of 5 to play. Worked inside, Sinano. She's had a couple rattle out. Someone who shot 77% from the field in the 4 games of the Big Ten tournament. Davis, CMU, an outstanding three-point shooting team, players with unlimited range. Davis can't hit this one. And a foul is called on Iowa. Good work by Jahari Smith to fight for position.
Yeah, I think that foul was on Sanano, and you could tell if it is, that would be a frustration foul from the bunny that she missed on the other end, on the offensive end, just to some of that frustration level.
Sanano 7 of 15 from the field, which would be good for most players, but she isn't most players. She leads the nation in field goal shooting at 68%. Davis tried to make the extra pass, and it was deflected out of play. Iowa contesting that it was last touched by the Chippewas.
Well, Central Michigan trying to figure out a way. They're getting the look. They're just making the long passes. So they're doing the pick and roll, what they've been doing all game long. But the passes that they're throwing are a little bit careless.
Kelly on the drive, gets it for 2. 23 now for Kelly. That's still a point shy of her season average. That's how prolific a scorer she has been. There are 2 20-point scorers on this CMU team, so they can go on a run. Clark, strong drive for 2 more.
Great drive by Clark.
Kelly held on to it and rolling to the basket was Smith to put it in. And hustling back to take it away for CMU is Molly Davis.
Molly Davis, the hustle player that we have seen today. She wasn't scoring the ball well, but just her presence on the floor, she was making all of the hustle plays early.
That's Caitlin Clark hustling in to keep it alive for Iowa, and a turnover by CMU. Clark, Sanano, won't miss this one. Inside of 3 minutes to go here in the 4th. And a timeout called by Heather Osterly. Clark's so good at sharing the ball.
Oh yeah, she is. And when she's in the open floor game right there, you gotta respect her game. You got 2 players that are running at her and leave Sanano wide open underneath the basket, which she missed a couple of bunnies, but you give her a point blank pass like that, she's not gonna miss it often.
Ryan Howard, the All-American for the University of Kentucky, getting ready to go, the 2-time SEC Player of the Year. Kyra Elsie's Wildcats set to take on 13 seed Idaho State coming up at the top of the hour here on ESPN. Idaho State, the Big Sky champs, making their 4th trip to the NCAA tournament. Winner of this game will take on the winner of that game in round number 2. So full timeout here, 2:55 to go. 79-67, Iowa on top by 11 at halftime, keeping CMU at arm's length. But again, CMU is a team that can make threes, and they can do it in a hurry.
Well, I know where Coach Gail Gassencourt on the sideline. She's not going to let this team give up. And you know, she was on our bench way back when for the Indiana Fever, so I know she is all up in their ear. Anything is possible. 2 minutes and 55 seconds. That's a lot of time in a game. You see her accolades right there for her career, but she's not going to let this team give up.
Assistant coach for Central Michigan, associate head coach in her first year, assisting Heather Osterly. Yeah, Heather's got quite the group of consiglieres between Gail and Sue Guevara, who she assisted for 9 years and still in touch with. They go dog walking together to talk about basketball and life. So it's a pretty good crew. A lot of wins there to bounce ideas off of. Oh, beautiful spin, but it won't drop down for Kelly. And here's Clark, who will slow things down. Martin. Sanano. 2 more.
Iowa does such a great job, and it starts with Clark. Clark recognizing the double team. She gets the ball, moves the ball up the court, and I mean, you look at it, nobody's dribbling the ball, they're passing the ball. The easiest way to break a press, pass through it, don't dribble through it.
Weeks can't hit the 3, and Iowa's got another rebound. Marshall. And hustling back to get the block for CMU was Davis.
Davis has done pretty much everything for CMU, from score to assist. You look at all the hustle plays. She charges, block shots. I mean, the hustle player.
Clark behind the back, Sonata with the finish. Beautiful dish by Caitlin Clark.
How she even saw Sonano. Look at that, behind the back pass. Great finish.
That's the shout out to Sue Bird right there, right? We just heard from Sue a moment ago on the Instagram chat with Holly Rowe a few days ago, saying that Caitlin Clark is the most exciting player in college basketball right now. That was a Bird-esque dish to get the assist. And Sonano with the finish to help stretch things out for Iowa here in the fourth.
Yeah, she's definitely been watching a little Bird action.
Warnock. Clark working with the Sonano screen. Off balance three, won't drop. 1:15 to go in the fourth.
And Central Michigan still looking at
The legal screen set by Smith. So it'll be Iowa basketball with 1:07 to go. And it looks like Heather Osterly will make some substitutions here. Kira Bussell, the senior, will come out of the game. There she is.
Yeah, you always love Kira Bussell. Came in and she played her heart out. I mean, she gave quality minutes, coming out with 8 points, 9 rebounds, so close to a double-double.
Michaela Kelly also checking out Maddie Waters, seniors who are all part of that Sweet 16 team from 3 years ago. Memorable wins over LSU and Ohio State. The sophomore Davis with it. There is Michaela Kelly. Got into the early foul trouble, fought through it, ended up with 23 points.
Yeah, she came in and you could tell she was definitely the difference maker early on. Second half, especially the fourth quarter, not really able to get herself going and get the team.
Alexis Civilian, the senior, into the game for Iowa, knocks down the three-pointer. In the end, it will be a comfortable victory for Iowa. Central Michigan kept it close for a good chunk as Karazinski knocks down the three. Good chunk of the third quarter, but Caitlin Clark settled things down. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for Clark. McKenna Warnock had 13 second-half points for Lisa Bluter. She kept things nice and settled for the Hawkeyes. Caitlin Clark's first NCAA tournament game is a victory. 87-72 the final.
Well, I just can't say enough about Clark and the way she came out and really helped this team. She helped her team. She scored or assisted on 38 points out of the 38 out of 87 points for Iowa. But when it came down to it, I think Iowa, their firepower, you know, Warnock was a big part, coming out with 13 points. Martin ended up with 13. Sonano ended up with 23. So they had balanced scoring to have players that came together and were able to pull off this victory in the first round.
23 points for Caitlin Clark. 23 points for Monica Sonano. So Iowa moving on to the second round. They will play Tuesday against the winner of the next game between Kentucky and Idaho State. So we go from Caitlin Clark, the All-American, to Ryan Howard, the All-American for Kentucky. Great debut for Caitlin Clark and her teammates to took part in the fun as well. 13 for Martin, 13 for Warnock, 23 for Sinano, and 23 for Caitlin Clark. 87-72 the final. Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck, Kentucky, Idaho State, all yours.